so much.
Sure. Okay, recording has started.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you. Okay,
Okay.
so
So yeah, so I
there.
saw that you added a new welcome page, but it doesn't sound like we're going to use welcome pages. But there
No,
is
not
this
anymore.
thank you page that if we edit that, it's just a basic says thank you for registering. So you can edit this to add your own logo. You can add text and stuff. You can do whatever you wanted here. I
Wait,
see
I'm
that
so
on
sorry.
this.
I'm still stuck on the whole. Okay, you're going a little fast for me because I'm going back on my screen and looking at it. Okay, so you're in the
Okay, yeah,
forms
just
or
focus on
you're
our screen.
in
If you could
the
focus on our
pages?
screen, and I'll just do a
Uh-huh.
tutorial,
Oh,
and you don't
found
have
it.
to worry about doing it right now yourself.
Okay, cool.
If you
I
want, you
will.
can refer back to this video and then, do edits later.
Okay, okay. Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, then you don't have to be switching back and forth and doing two things at once. So we'll just do a little mini training session here, as Susan said, kind of show you a couple things, and then she'll send you this video if you need to get a refresher on it later. You
Okay.
can come back to here.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
So the pages, yeah, so your pages are in here, and this is where that thank you page is. It looks like somebody relabeled
Mm-hmm.
it to the old thank you page. But right
Mm-hmm.
now, this is what happens when you click the save button here. It takes the students to this thank you page, which is, as we see, just says thank you for registering.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome to add more text blocks. You can click create new text block, give it a title, and enter in any text that you want. You
Mm-hmm.
can add some media components. You can add some of your logos if you want. Those are probably the two main things that you'll be using on these pages, is just text and images.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add those, and that page. So I'm going to go to the forms now and open that self-registration form. And I'm going to show you how it determines to go to that page when you save the form. So on the self-registration, I'm going to click edit. And in the form settings, there's this navigation section. And it says
I
when
see.
change.
When saved, do the following. Okay, I got
Yep.
you.
So when saved, go to the thank you page. When canceled, it brings you to that welcome page. So if we
Okay.
click cancel, it does bring us back to the welcome page, where then they can go back forward again by clicking that button.
But like you
So you
said,
may
we
want
can
to
always
update the
just get
welcome
rid of
page. Just,
the welcome page. Like, do we need to have that welcome page anymore since we've
we
decided not to
can't,
use it?
if you want to do that, there is this thing where we can hide buttons. We can hide the save and cancel buttons, and then you can just add a save button only. So I can show you
Mm,
that. So we will not use canceling anymore. So I'm going to say hide the buttons. And
mm-hmm.
that's hiding the default navigation button. So if I save that and refresh our page, you're going to see that our buttons went away, and right now we can't actually do
Gotcha,
anything.
gotcha. Okay, okay, I got
So
you.
now we need to manually add in some buttons. To do that, I'm going to go to layout. Then I'm going to choose what
Mm,
I want to do from here, this display item
and
type.
then
And
you
right
hit the
now
button field.
it works with fields. And I'm going to change it to buttons, and I'm going to say create a button. I'll just call it submit, 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 and we'll just go submit all the way down, I guess. Make it simple. Go back and we'll add that back to the top. So now it's going to be, if I just add it on there, it's going to be a giant button. Probably don't want that. So now we need to edit that button to make it look a little more presentable. So we're going to shrink it down to like 15%. Oops. I do want it at the complete top, but I only want it to take up a small percentage of that. So I'm going to say shrink it down to about 15% of the side, and let's add in some margin all around so it's not just hugging everything. Now if I refresh it, so now you have a new submit button up there. And you can make it
Gotcha,
even
gotcha. And it
smaller if you
won't
want.
let you hit submit. Okay,
Not yet, not
sounds
until the
good.
fields are filled out.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's good.
That's still a little bigger than it normally is, so I'm gonna actually shrink it down to 10 and see what that looks like. That's pretty close.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there we have a
Okay.
button. The next thing, so you also mentioned adding text. So one thing you can do, depending on how you want everything to lay out, because right now this title is right next to this image. So we have
Mm-hmm.
title and image right next to each other. So with new text, you can try adding in
Can
new
you
text
add,
below it.
can you add that text block that she put into chat as its own separate block?
We can. Yep.
Okay.
So we can try adding it below it, and we'll add that, and we'll say, okay, maybe we like that, maybe we don't. Maybe we need some more spacing in there. We can add some spacing. Save, and I'm just doing a lot of bouncing back and forth. So every time I
No,
save
you're
it, I
good.
just
You're
check to
good.
see.
I'm following. You're good.
So that's good. But if it was really long,
Mhm.
I'm just going to show you an example of that, just so you can see why we'd want to maybe split this out into its own one. Let's say that all of this was just one big paragraph. So now it's kind of stretching the image out. So we don't really want that to
Yeah.
happen. So
Mhm.
instead of adding it to the current text block,
Oh, do you want to make a new one? Okay, I got
we'll
you.
create a new one. Yep. So we'll say new text. Create this. We'll put it in here.
That's kind of my recommendation, but I'm
And
not a
this
form designer.
is,
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm not sure what.
Let's see. What did Dr. Watson call it? This is the blah. What did she call it? You can just say GOL grant promotion statement.
Okay, so now we'll save this.
Promotion. Sorry,
Oh,
promotion.
promotion.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so now that it's on its own block, we can take it and we can add it to the top again if we want.
Gotcha. So that
And
way
if
it'll
we don't
be
want it at the
easier.
top, we can also just take it and drag it all the way to the bottom, which it may be with this long form be easier to close it off and then re-put it down here, maybe with a little bit of margin so it's not hugging up against the next fields. So if we scroll all the way down, now you can see it's there.
I gotcha.
So yeah, you can kind of decide, and if you want the text to be bigger, a lot of the text actual editing on this will be done in here. So if you don't like that size, you can always bump it up. You can change the color, the boldness, italicize, kind of whatever you want in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you edit the actual text when you're editing how it looks on the form. That's all done by clicking on an item and using over here.
If I do want to edit, like if they do decide they want a welcome page instead, right? It's like welcome, please click the button below to go ahead and proceed to your application process, right? Would this be the same when I go back and I go to pages instead of forms and I click on the editing for the welcome and or thank you page, right? I just have to make sure it is linked. That's the only thing I have to make sure it's linked because I have to go back to forms and then I have to make sure it's linked.
Yeah, if you guys
To
decide to
welcome
use
and thank you.
this welcome page
Mm-hmm.
versus the one that we had, you can
Go
build that
back,
page.
go
You
to
already did.
form, go to self-registration, and then what was it? Form settings, right? And then yep, did that. Okay, I gotcha.
Yep. Well, the cancel button's not on there, but now if I were to cancel it, it would bring us back to that one page. But we hid the cancel button, so we're actually never going to be getting there. The only time they'll ever get to that welcome page is by using the cancel button, because when you guys are sending this off to students, usually you just send a link directly to the form.
Yeah. We're planning to just what was it? Mr. John taught me how to create a QR code for the link. So that's what I was planning to use since the what was it? The link itself will not change, right? For the registration page. So that's how that's what I was planning to use.
Okay. Go back to my self-registration form. And one other thing that you were talking about was emails, sending emails automatically to people. I did turn off the one the other day. We just turned that off until we had a chance to talk about it. So this one is the one that sends a copy of this
to the student. Okay.
to the student. Yeah, so it says always. So that means that whenever it's saved, it's going to go
It should
to
be
this email field and send.
Okay, cool, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that was set up.
So what's going to happen though is it's not actually going to send them a copy of this form.
Okay.
It's actually just going to send them. So you have the to address, so it's going to send it to them. The subject is going to be this. The content is going to be this. but we can't actually link to this document.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get
Okay.
any information about what they submitted. They'll get a confirmation saying in their email saying, hey, you submitted it, but it's not going to include the contents of this page.
I got you. I got you. That's fine as long as the email is like set up and whatnot. But
So we
when it
need to
means
actually
include link
turn,
to document,
what's that?
okay, no. So you said I have to turn off the include link to document. Would
Yes,
that mean like just the uncompleted form is what it would be linked to, or?
so the reason we have to turn this off is because the participants don't actually have access to the system. Once the record's been submitted, they can't
Gotcha,
actually go in
gotcha.
and view it. So you'd be sending them a link, and what it's going to send them is in their email, they're going to get this up here.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah,
if they
no,
try
we don't want
accessing
that.
this, they're going to get brought to a login page, which they're never going to be able to log into,
Gotcha,
and it's just
gotcha.
going to be confusing.
Yeah, yeah, I'd rather not have
So,
students
so we
asking me
turn
about
that
that. Yeah,
off.
okay, okay, cool, perfect.
They'll still get an email confirming that they
Okay, okay,
submitted it.
cool. Yeah,
So
no,
I'm
that was
going
just some
to,
like random message I just wrote up on the day because I was like, okay, this seems legit enough.
Oh, good
yeah,
job.
so that's on form submit, and then the other two on form submit.
And
Looks
then
like,
yeah,
yeah, it just and
so
just make sure you
it could
test these
work,
out.
right? Okay, cool. I need to test them out. I haven't tested them out yet. I've been too scared. I wanted to check your opinion before I even try to do something.
Yeah, just test everything out before you go through. You can even, if you don't want these guys to get spammed with emails while you're testing it, you can take them out while you're testing it yourself and put in your email. And then when you're ready, then put theirs back in. But yeah,
I
so
don't
what
care
the
if they get
test?
spammed. It's okay. I know all of them. They can get
Training
spammed. They can have CB testing once and CB testing two.
Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Bachelor of Science. I
Okay,
believe
cool.
this should be good then.
Okay, cool. Bye-bye.
But yeah,
Like I said,
definitely.
this was I'm gonna try it for the first time situation, and I did it all in one go, and yeah.
Yeah, and as Susan said, all these other rules are
hmm
for program
Yeah, no,
compliance.
no,
So
no.
yeah, just
I don't touch
leave
those.
those.
I only look at everything that says self-registration.
Things
And
can
then
be modified, but I want you to ask us first.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna be sending you that email, Miss Susan. Don't even
Okay,
worry
good.
about it.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
no,
then
I don't. Especially with how difficult it was trying to submit the last report. Coming out, it was so bad. Oh my God. He was so stressed. She's been stressed for like a couple of weeks. I was only stressed like when she came up and she was like, "Can I?" She was like, "Sibi, help! I need this," and I was like, "Oh, I don't even know." She was like, "Oh, I'm just glad we finally got it." Ugh,
and our
terrible.
template doesn't come with this field in here. You guys must have added this, or maybe it's John. Was John
The
working on this
design
project?
program, I actually added that.
Okay. So
hmm
you added it and it was correct. The only
hmm
adjustment that I had to make is this drop down was always blank when you accessed it
Oh, I'm sorry.
through the link, and that's because the public users weren't given access to the program catalog or
Gotcha,
the training
gotcha.
program data set. So
Okay,
I had to
okay,
give
cool.
public users access to this
Okay.
catalog so they could load that in.
Yeah,
So
Mr.
they,
John talked me through it because of the fact that we have two different programs for the same DOL grant. And the problem is each program is to a different set of people, plus one of them was a bachelor's and the other one was a graduate. So it would mean completely different types of like situations, courses, catalogs, and everything. So that was the reason why I asked Mr. John, and he talked me through into making one of them, and I made the other one myself. So that's the reason why it exists, because otherwise we won't be able to know which program that the student's applying for, meaning which courses that they'll be taking, which trainings they'll be taking, and who they'll fall under. So it'll get really confusing really fast. Hence that little snippet.
Mhm. Yeah.
so
Another
is
thing
that,
I'd recommend we do with that is under participant management. So you don't have any way of actually seeing that information now.
right?
Oh,
So
okay.
you have it on there, but it's not on this other actual participant form, and it's
Is that
not in the
something we can
view
add?
anywhere. So yeah,
Yes.
we can add that. So
Oh,
let's go to
perfect.
the
Thank you.
other form for the participant profile, and I will add it.
So does that make sense, CB? That's been added to the self-registration. We want to get that onto the staff-facing form as well.
And they'll be able to check to see whether the student's part of the bachelor's or the master's program. Perfect.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's just going to be on the profile forms. Then if you as the human expert say, well, yes, in fact, Susan Harden, whose desired program is the master's program, if then you say I'm eligible to be enrolled, then when you create the training program after the grant enrollment, you know what program to put me in.
Gotcha. Perfect. Cool. Because I just gave that list to our IT person, Eric Bennett, the other day of the courses for each of the program. So that way, as long as that is in there, he'll be able to figure out these courses need to go under this program versus the other courses because they're completely different sets of courses.
Did he create that import for the courses?
I'm not sure if he's created them yet or not. I'm not quite sure how to even look into it. But I haven't talked to him lately. Let's see.
We can look.
Yeah, I was about to say you can always look or I'm sure if he just honestly, if he just shoot him a quick email, he's always on his email all the time. So should be no big deal at all.
All right, so I got that field added to the participant profile.
Oh,
it's in here now.
Okay, cool.
Maybe to make it even easier since it seems like that field's pretty common, we could add it to the list of reviewed participants.
Yeah, you're moving too fast for me to see, but I don't need to see this, so we could.
What Kyle is doing, since he added that form to the participant profile form on the staff side, he is now adding that field as a new column in the view of reviewed participants.
You are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll add it to the not yet reviewed as
thankful.
well. I'll go a little slower on this one. So
no, you're good. Okay.
In the views.
So in the views, and then go to participants. No, not yet reviewed. Okay.
Not yet reviewed participant view. So this is a reference date element, so it doesn't show up in this list.
Gotcha.
So I need to go to my reference ones.
And then add it. Catalog reference.
Then I will drag it over.
Gotcha.
And we're using this as desired program. So I'm going to relabel it desired program. And the field, so we're going to kind of work down this a little bit. So I'm going to relabel it to desired program. So that's what we see in the view. The field I want it to display is name. And then
you can just add how it looks and whatnot. I got you.
Yeah, and I'll probably just leave with how that is, and I'll come back here and refresh this, and that's a new column.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. And actually, we can change it as well. One of the nice things with some of these to add in is the filter type. Oops. Changing it from sometimes a simple input to a unique list. I'm going to do that on both of these views. And what this does is instead of having to type in something in here, you'll get a drop down. So right now there's only Bachelor of Nursing, but if there was the other one as well, it would show up.
Honestly, there should actually already be the other ones too. I don't know. That's probably a Dr. Watt. Oh yeah, that is. Let's see.
So that's just the desired program that they selected on registration. That also needs to be filled out when they start their training program. Remember, those are two different fields. So that's something we don't want to get confused with here is just because they said that's what their desired program in, that doesn't mean that's what you guys put them in.
Training. Gotcha.
And you guys, they could get these mixed up if, if they selected, they didn't have
gotcha.
Yeah, so this one said their desired one was bachelor in something. But I could come in here and I could have said master's on accident or maybe on purpose. I don't know. So if that's supposed to be consistent, is that always the case where their desired one is going to be the same value here?
Because they won't be applying for a master's if they don't already have a bachelor's. And like you said, if anything ever comes up, we can always go back on our back end and change it. But the students only know the fact, our bachelor's students only know the fact that DOL is offered for bachelor's. And when they get to master's, then they're like, oh, it's also offered for this specific master's program. So.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think one other thing we can do to help that out then is I'm gonna go back to forms. I'm gonna go to my training program form. And I'm
Okay.
gonna create a new rule that's gonna say set the, what do we call that?
Desired program.
Set the training program name.
Oh.
And I'm gonna say if not empty. So I'm going to reach out to so I'm on the training program and I'm going to reach out to the participant data set.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say if on the participant data set, the training catalog reference value is not empty, and I'm going to say it is empty on the current form that we're working with, training catalog reference, then set a field. I want to set my training catalog reference equal to a value of, so this is kind of so in this business rule,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm selecting just the reference key, I can't actually chain down into the name, so I can't type
Yeah.
in, um,
The Bachelor of Science in
where is
Nursing.
it? Yeah, I can't type that in. What I actually have to do is grab the ID for that record. So I'm going to grab that from up here. Sometimes we put it in the views, like in our staff organization one, because that's a pretty popular one that people use.
Yeah.
Or you can find it in the queries, but I need to find the actual ID of that training program catalog record.
Oh, in
And if
order
I
to,
put
because you
that in
can't do
here,
it as a, I gotcha.
so I'm going to put that in there. I will come over here, and you can see how this was auto-populated now.
Yeah.
So if I come in here, it's auto-populating this value, so I don't have to go back and look who was I working with and what was their value. I can just know, or
I
it'll just
gotcha.
auto-populate this for it.
But
It's not going to do it for existing records,
question,
so
I was about to
existing.
say, so will this mean it'll auto-populate for any new records as well, unless they specify that they're a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Science in Nursing or a Master of Science in Nursing? Is that
Yeah,
how it goes?
this will work as long as they edit, as long as they have it filled out on the participant profile and they either
Okay,
create a new or edit an existing training program. This isn't doing anything in the background right now to automatically
gotcha,
set
gotcha. Okay, cool. Perfect. So
those
as long as
values.
they do select that value in the self-registration form, which is required for them to select it, it should auto-populate it
Yep.
as whatever it's. Okay, cool.
Yeah, then going
Perfect.
forward, when staff go in and create this, it'll autofill
Then
this
it'll
in for them.
automatically. Okay, perfect. Oh, that would be really helpful for them. As long as because the students know that no, of course they're going to be selecting the bachelor's. If they're not already a bachelor's, they'll be selecting their master's. So as long as they do that, then that'll be one of the things that'll auto-populate. And if something ever happens, like you said, we can always go back and change it, right? It's not something that's set. Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, that would definitely help. That could be one of the things that could automatically do it for them. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm
Mhm.
sorry about that, but I'm glad I learned about the business rules because I'm still struggling a little bit on like the if and then situations. Creating rules is not easy. I always
I
have
do
to
have
do
one
it for
other question
Excel.
about this. Is
Mm-hmm.
Spalding University going to be the only organization?
Yep.
Okay, so another thing we can do is get that field set. So I'm going to do that same.
Oh, the
Well,
same
I'm
rule.
not going to do it through a business rule this time. I'm just going to
Okay.
always set that value to a specific organization. So I'm going to go back to the self-registration. I could create a rule that just says on load, set that field like we just did, set this field to this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Hold
because
on,
I don't have any if checks, I don't need to check
Oh,
if
wait.
something.
I think
hold
the
on,
Susan.
hold on 1 second, Kyle. I just want to verify, because I thought that I heard on one of our last calls that there are going to be potentially other organizations with staff
Uh,
users. And if,
yes.
even though all of,
I'm
even though,
not okay. For
no,
now, we don't have any other staff users from other organizations lined up yet who want to be included other than Spalding University, right? But I have heard that in the future we might potentially have some but not in the near future that I'm aware of. So we don't have to
Okay.
set that rule. Like you said,
Okay,
it's like
we'll
it's
skip
no
that.
big deal. We'll just keep Spalding University as is. Like this is not something
Okay.
that is like a big deal if that needs to be.
I
So,
just wanted
but
to
no,
cover
you're
that,
good.
Kyle.
No, you're good. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Miss Susan. Because
Sure.
in my brain, I'm only thinking about the next year. I was not thinking about like maybe like in like I think because I know there were some clinical partners that Dr. Watson wanted to bring them into, but it's not happening for a while now. So don't have to worry about it now. So
Okay.
yeah. But I think that's it. And then the same way we edited the self-registration page, the same way I can do that for thank you page as well, right? But messages, adding text, blah blah blah, all those things, right? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. And then you did say my emails are all syncing up and they seem appropriate. So I think what I might do after our meeting today is try and test them to see if it works. Fill out a self-registration page, make sure they get emails. If they do,
Mhm.
great. If they don't, then I might have to bother you guys again.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, if anything, just send me an email, CB, and we can get back together.
Okay,
But do we
perfect.
need
Thank
to
you.
add consent date and consent signature block on the bottom?
Ooh, I think that's a good call. I like that. I would love to have that. It's not required as per our DOL stuff, but I think it'd be really nice if at the end we
Yeah,
can, below the document attachment, be like, hey, I consent to all my information being
right.
shared, and then hit yes, and then
Yep. So
like you
you
said, a
know,
signature block and a date block would be
right,
nice.
and you know how to add another text block. So if
Yes.
Dr. Watson has text, consent language to
That
put
she'd
down
like
in the
to fill on
bottom, you
there.
can add that, and we can add a consent date and a consent signature block now. So that at least those two things are in place. And then you can add text as need be. How would that be?
I think that'd be perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, great. And then Kyle, you want to add those two fields also over onto the staff profile, so it's visibly documentable on the participant profile that they've signed that.
We don't actually necessarily need it per se. I think this is just covering our own tushies, as one of my coworkers would say. That's pretty much it. It doesn't necessarily. I mean, if you'd like to, feel free to add that to it. But on my end, Dr. Watson wasn't too concerned about you know having
About
this
that.
be a major. Yeah, it's just for
Okay.
like them to know, like, hey, when you sign this and you click the submit button, it's gonna submit. Make sure your information is accurate, blah blah blah, kids. All those fun things.
Right.
Sorry. It's like I'm like the same age as them almost, but it's just they're like that mental age gap is like a lot. So I'm like
That
always like,
maturity age gap goes, it does start to affect you, doesn't it? Yes.
yeah, it's like the desk job. As soon as you sit at this desk, you're like, oh, I'm like that age now. Yeah. Even though I still dress in sweatpants and like hoodies and stuff. So okay, perfect. And then I just do okay, I got you. This is
Okay,
starting
yeah,
to
I'm gonna
make a
throw in the
little bit more
consent.
sense.
Let's
Uh-huh.
throw in the consent text block for you, so you don't have to create a new one. You can just edit this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have the signature and date fields at the bottom of this form for them to fill out. So right now it's going to look like
I just have one
this.
question. So if I want to add like media to this page at the beginning, be like, hey, this is Spalding. I have this cute little picture of Spalding University. Like I want to add that. If I want to edit that media to look a certain way, would this be like a similar format to editing media, or do I have to already have the media edited and then upload it on there? How would that work? Kind of.
Probably a combination of both. Probably make sure that you have it in a good resizable format, so that if you do stretch it out on here, that it works.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I was going to
Because
update
I
this.
haven't
There we
tried
go.
any media yet. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
Um,
the media
That's
ones.
okay.
Yeah, you just come in here and you say add media. Looks like there's already a couple in there. You can add another one. But if
what
you
if
drag
this
it,
how do I like do I send you guys the media that I want in our little doc? Because I have pictures outside of this, especially in the
oh,
thank you page. I like to add it. Thank you for applying to nursing. And then I have this specific, I don't know if you guys have this logo, but it's an old timey circular logo of Spalding University School of Nursing that I wanted to add on there. And
You
then,
can
hey,
add your
thank
own,
you.
using the
Mhm.
domain, you can add logos here yourself.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
So up
Okay.
here on the domain settings, up at the top,
Mm-hmm.
domain settings and then media
Media
library.
library. Oh, and then
This
upload it.
is a
Okay,
list
good.
of all of the current ones in there.
Yeah, it looks similar to this one, but then it says School of Nursing on the circle itself.
Yep. So you can just add a new one, create a new one in here. So you just give it a name and then you upload the file.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Um,
Does it need to be a specific type of file, like PNG, or can I just do JPEG as well?
both should work.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep. And then you just add it
Sounds
to the
good.
form and just kind of modify it as you see fit from there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So in this case, this one, we moved it off to the right. So we did right horizontal
Right
alignment. The width we
horizontal.
changed to 50, so
Okay.
it's not as big. Height we left empty, so it would auto adjust, so it doesn't look funny when we stretch it. So if we put in like 200 for the height,
Yeah, that's gonna stretch it.
it's gonna stretch it. It's gonna look funny.
Gotcha,
So we
gotcha.
just set one of these properties, either height or width, and let it auto adjust the rest, so it
Gotcha.
doesn't do it in any weird way.
Mm-hmm.
CB, are you attending
Mm-hmm.
the domain training next week?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm in. Is this the one on Tuesday? Next Tuesday
I
at
think
2
the
p.m.?
is that the 5th?
Yes.
Yes, that's when
Okay.
this.
Looks like it's on my calendar, so
Oh,
I'll be
good,
there.
good. So a lot of this and more,
Okay, okay,
and
perfect.
that 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 training goes through a series of 3 or 4 or 5,
Okay.
sessions that are progressively more and more complex. So we'll
Okay,
take you
okay.
through the first part of it. You'll probably already know all about it because of your diving in and then going through this today. But
Oh my
you'll
God.
really learn everything there is to know about
Okay.
crime.
Perfect. Wonderful. Because I'm, I don't know about the others, but I'm really into the aesthetic of it because not only do I want to make it easily usable, but I also want to make it look nice and like a little bit chicer than, because this is, well, technically they're still like students, but I wanted to make it so it stands out a little because Dr. Watson doesn't care as long as I like her information set and the report comes out. Like she's like, I don't care what you do with it, but even she was talking, and I think it'd be nice if possibly we can do like any kind of cute backgrounds or like shading and stuff like that. That's what I'm mainly looking into. That's all. So whenever we do get to that part of the domain training, I might go back in and fiddle with the self-registration page once I figure out how these things work. But yeah, no. But yeah,
Sounds
this
like
has been
fun.
so helpful. Yeah, can't help it. Part of me. I like doing stuff, especially since we got Canva Pro. I'm like so into it.
All right.
I know. I was very happy. I was like, I don't have to pay for it. Anyway, but yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That believe you guys answered all my questions and more. Um, but I don't think there's anything else for self-registration other than testing the emails. Everything should be good to go, right? For link wise, starting it. And then
Yeah.
we said we no longer want the welcome page. Hopefully, Dr. Watson's cool with it. But then I will edit the thank you page. Put something on there, just a quick little blurb or whatnot. I'm sure ChatGPT will light something up for me. But I think that's it.
And our template comes with this
Hmm.
document attachment. It is just generically called document attachment. If there's something
Okay.
specific you want them to attach, you can change the label, like, attach resume here or
Hmm.
attach something else. Or if there's no documents you ever need from them up front,
Let's get rid of it.
this can be removed.
Yeah, I think for now we can get rid of it. Like Miss
Okay.
Susan, I wasn't told of any documents you need to attach.
No,
Okay.
not from DOL's perspective. It's strictly there for your use if you want
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I gotcha. In the future, maybe we might do like maybe like if they have any accommodations or something, we might
Yeah.
put that in there or something like that. Maybe some supporting documents or something. But at the moment, I was not told of any documents we need specifically for self-registration.
Okay.
But that's something definitely I can ask and check with Dr. Watson.
Sure. Okay. Well,
That's
refresh
good.
your application and play with it. And if anything, CB is, on your short list, send me an email. We can get back together. Otherwise, if you're on the meeting next week, and it sounds like you are, Derek Edwards, who does those trainings, is great. He's very easy to work with. He knows Prime in and out, and he will be happy to answer all your questions.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You got it.
And I really appreciate it. And what was your name again? I'm so sorry. Your name was Kyle, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. It was really nice to meet you. And thank you so much for all your help with this. I really appreciate it. I was like fiddling and I didn't even know how to like, I didn't know what would happen if I tried to do a test, let alone like anything else.
Oh,
And I'm so glad that you guys really helped me and made me feel a little better.
you got
Not
pretty far
as
on your own. You got
uh,
further than a lot of our advanced users get with some of those
No
rules that
kidding.
you wrote already.
just so you know, I did have Mr. John like next to me the whole time. And he tells me to one of them and then I did the rest. And then, it doesn't mean that I cannot like, just bring it up from scratch. I'm just glad you guys are so easy to use though. It's very similar to a lot of the Microsoft stuff that I generally just fiddle with, like Microsoft Access or Excel and
Mhm.
all those fun little things that I had a class. It was terrible. I don't know how I passed. But when you get a certification, you have to take that little certification exam and then you pass and then
Mhm.
yeah,
You,
no.
you did great. I
Yep,
will go ahead and get this recording added to your YouTube
Perfect.
playlist and let you know.
when you
Thank you
fill
so
this
much.
out and you
Uh-huh.
click submit, it's going to
Mhm.
come into this not yet reviewed participants,
And it'll pop up there.
and you can
Okay,
just delete it right away.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Sounds
I
good.
mean, you can open it to look at it to make sure that everything, is there. There's still
Mhm.
stuff if they didn't fill out this, they have to come in and staff will have to fill it out. Um,
I thought it wouldn't let them submit it until it was filled out. No?
so it looks like you guys made that one optional. I don't know if that was intentional.
Can we make it the quiet?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you
If
Go
should.
that's
back and
possible. I was like, that's something we definitely need for I don't know about DOL, but for us personally, we definitely need it. Let me see. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be.
yeah, that one. And I don't know what happened with this other one that
Hmm,
I don't know if
weird.
this one was one of those ones that was imported and there's just a bad value in there. Are they all?
Oh, I don't know about the county.
No,
No,
that
that
one
one's
works.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah,
what's
that
up with
one.
that one.
Maybe it's the number. Hmm.
Yeah, everything else on here, all the required fields should be. Yeah, this was the only DOL field that you guys made optional. Everything else, I believe you left all the DOL fields required.
Mm-hmm. And the social security is something that'll be imported with colleague, right, Miss Susan, is what they were trying to work with. Or
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know
okay,
what
cool.
I don't know what the import process is with colleague. Eric
I don't know
was
either.
working on that, I guess. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm unfamiliar with that. That will be something we'll have to talk about next week, probably.
Yeah. Oh, but I do have an update for you regarding our services offered field. So with our other program that we have Slate, right? There is a code and a subcode for each of our services offered for the DOL grant. So it looks like it'll be relatively simple enough to as long as Eric can make those codes and subcodes and make sure they correlate with the appropriate fields, he should be able to transfer them over. So he's right now he's trying to get to see and get the exact codes for each of our services. But hopefully it'll be up there and running soon. Hopefully.
Oh,
Fingers
okay.
crossed. But until then, but I did get that update. So I was like, wait. I was like, okay, cool. Getting somewhere. So
Great.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, keep
Perfect.
us posted if you need anything else, CB. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you so much. And it was really nice to see you guys.
You too.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.